Good afternoon, everyone. This is a broadcast about the New York legislation to make abortion legal. Pretty much, I think everybody has heard about it, and people are making videos about how evil this is and how evil people have become and things like that. But really, what's behind it? Who's behind this? Who's been killing babies for since the dawn of the earth? It's Satan, and Satan uses specific people throughout history to kill the children, the heirs of Yah. There was a time when the pharaohs decreed that there should be a killing of all Hebrew babies. Then there was a time when Herod decreed that there should be a killing of the firstborn males, and that is in the time of Yasha. So because you're seeing this killing of babies, you should know that we are close to the Yasha's coming. But who's behind it? See, you'll have people giving reports about it, and they don't understand what this really, who Yah is using right now to kill Hebrew babies and to kill the Protestant babies. So I wanted to just bring this to your mind and look at history and see who are these evil people. It's the Jesuits. Okay, you can go on having newscast after newscast and video after video, but if you don't know who the enemy is, and you don't know how the enemy works in present time, how the enemy can do things while you're looking and in plain sight, and you don't even know who they are. The enemies are in your churches. They took over when you became a 501c3. The Jesuits infiltrated all the churches, I think it was by 1982. And an ex-Jesuit pastor, preacher, priest, Rivera, I forget his first name, I'll remember in a second, Alberto Rivera, he took a Jesuit oath, and in that Jesuit oath, which I have right here, the Jesuit oath, look it up online, and it says, okay, this is the following is the text of the Jesuit Extreme Oath of Induction, as recorded in the journals of the 62nd Congress, 3rd Session of the United States Congressional Record, okay? And Dr. Alberto Rivera, who escaped from the Jesuit order in 1967, confirms that the induction ceremony and the text of the Jesuit oath which he took were identical to what we have right here, okay? So it's a long document, so you can't read it all, but I want you to notice that when they're about to take this Jesuit oath, there's a lot of things that they say. And if you want to know who's causing wars and who's got a military, who's causing wars between Russia and Syria, and just read the Jesuit oath, it tells you. It says, I've read some of this before, so this is just another section. It says, you have been taught to plant insidiously, because this is a superior speaking at the induction. You've been taught, he's talking to the newly appointed Jesuit, because it takes 15 years to go through the training. And then you get to this point. But before that, yeah, they are already working on their modus operandi. So it says, you've been taught to plant insidiously the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities. So who is behind these community people that, back in, even in the, was it the 1970s or 80s, the Weather Underground, that they wanted to blow up, they tried to blow up buildings, okay? And who, Bill Ayers was one of them. He was the leader, and he was a friend, and he was the mentor to Obama. And what is he called? He was a community organizer. So there was a Jesuit behind him, and that's what the CIA is. It's just filled with, it was created as a Catholic intelligence agency, or the Catholic Inquisition agency. So it says, seeds of jealousy, of hatred between communities, okay? So you don't just have blacks hating whites on their own, because as we know, everybody's friends and friendly with each other. Okay, when you walk in the street, when you go to the grocery store, we're all right next to each other, getting along just fine. Okay, so it says, you've been taught to plant the seeds of hatred between communities, provinces, states that were at peace, and to incite them to deeds of blood, which you got right now. Antifa, they're being paid by Soros, who is a Jesuit, leader, but he's got somebody behind him that's a Jesuit. Okay, to incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous. So this is who's behind it, people. It's the Jesuits. Wake up. Your pastors have stopped doing what they should do. A pastor protects the sheep. A pastor is to tell his people what is insidious, what is really going on, who's really against them, what's really happening. And they're not. Why? Because they're all Jesuit infiltrators. All your pastors and all your 501c3 churches either are Jesuit, or they're taught by Jesuits, or they follow the Jesuits. So here it says that they create revolutions, civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the arts and the sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace. This is what they were before. To take sides with the combatants and to act secretly with your brother Jesuit who might be engaged on the other side. So see, you might have somebody on the left who is like Joe Biden, who was Jesuit, and then you have somebody on the right like John Bonner, who also, he's on the right, but this is what it's telling you. This right here is telling you that this is how they operate. Okay, to act secretly with your brother Jesuit who might be engaged on the other side. So you have two sides fighting, the Republicans, like here in this country, Republicans and Democrats, acting as if they're going to come to a conclusion to keep the people out of America, when really it's the Catholic Church who wants to infiltrate the United States. You can watch a video about that, about the Jesuits and how they want the Catholics to infiltrate and take over this land so that it becomes a third world country. And that's what they want to do, is bring down the United States, because they used to have religious freedom. Right now, people are being persecuted for speaking out, and their videos are being taken away. All the Jesuit videos that I had on my list of other people talking about different parts of the Jesuits, what they do, they've been erased from YouTube. Okay, so it says, but openly you're opposed to that which you might be connected. See, you pretend you're opposed, only that the church might be the gainer in the end. So in other words, whatever you do, as long as the end, the outcome is for the mother church, the Catholic Church. In the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and that the end justifies the means. So they put these things in treaties, which, like in all these bills that are gone into Congress, if you don't read every little minutia, like recently the one about in 2016, Obama put into law to fund fake news, and it was $2 billion. Now they've already used it up as of December 2017. So all of this is connected. You could just read this and see right here. It's like this page is a prophecy of the Catholic Jesuit military order of the Catholic Church. And it says, you have been taught your duty as a spy to gather all statistics, facts, and information in your power. This is the Inquisition. So when you saw people like Roger Stone, which you should be up on this, but most people are not because they're asleep. He was raided by the FBI at 5:55 in the morning when it was still dark, and like 29 different cars and helicopters and all this stuff came, yet he hadn't done anything wrong except that he's one of Trump's friends. So just like Paul Manafort, all these people, this is what they do. They gather your statistics. They take all your computers. They take everything from your cell phone, from every source, and it says that you're to integrate yourself into the confidence of the family circle. So your pastor could be a Jesuit and you don't even know it, because that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to integrate the family circle of Protestants and heretics of every class and character, as well as that of the merchant, the banker, the lawyer, among the schools and universities. The schools and universities are totally taken over by the Jesuits. In parliaments and legislators and the judiciaries and the councils of state, and to be all things to all men for the Pope's sake, whose servants we are unto the death. Okay, I'm going to skip over. There's all this other to read, but I want to skip to the part where it says what the person who's taking the oath, they also promise certain things and declare certain things. So this is what they declare. So this is bringing us to the subject of babies being killed through abortion, through the SDA church, through the hospitals, through everywhere, not just SDA, but everywhere on the land. And in New York, they have this new law where you can kill a baby all the way to the day of its birth, take its body parts, and everybody just laughs about it on this video where this doctor is talking about this. And all this is happening because of prophecy, because people have forgotten the ordinances of the Yah, okay? This is what they say here. Jesuit that's taking the oath says, I do further declare, because before it was the person, the superior general, telling them what they need to do. Now this person who's a Jesuit is going to declare this at their oath, okay? It says, I do further declare that I will help, assist, and advise all or any of His Holiness's agents in my place where I should be, in any place where I should be, in Switzerland, Germany, Holland, Ireland, or America, or in any other kingdom or territory I shall come to, and do my uttermost to extirpate the heretical Protestant or Masonic doctrine, so they hate Protestants, and to destroy all their pretended powers, legal or otherwise. See, they say they're pretended powers. So they're saying that none of these countries, none of these kingdoms have any power. The only power is their so-called power from the Catholic Church. Okay, it says, I do further promise and declare that notwithstanding, I am dispensed with to assume any religion. They assume to be a Seventh-day Adventist, okay? Any religion heretical for the propagation of the Mother Church's interest, to keep secret and private all her agents' counsels from time to time as they entrust me, and not to divulge directly or indirectly by word, writing, or circumstance, whatever, but to execute all that should be proposed, given in charge, or discovered unto me by you, my ghostly father, or any of this sacred order. I do further promise and declare that I will have no opinion of my own, etc., but will unhesitantly obey each and every command that I may receive from my superiors in the militia of the Pope of Jesus Christ. So right there, they're a militia, military order. It says, I do further promise. Now this is the part that's coming in about abortion and killing the babies in the United States, okay? Because the United States was the promised land to be a place where you didn't have the popes, or you didn't have these heretical kings over you, and you had religious freedom. But they came over here and they just infiltrated like ants. It says, I do further promise, this is the person who's a Jesuit, and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly and openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and Masons, as I am directed to do, to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth. That's why you're having these killings. That's why you have chemtrails. That's why you have genetically modified foods to kill you through your stomach, through your gut. This is poison, which we're going to read about this. GMOs are poison. That is the spraying of the wheat, and the changing of soybeans. Most soy and corn it's in the 90% that you have to get organic, okay? You can't just ignore that. It's a poison through your gut. But this is what they're saying. They promise these things secretly and openly against all heretics, Protestants. I'm directed to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth, and I will spare neither age, sex, nor condition, and that I will hang, burn, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics. Now this is the part that this video is about. They say they will rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate their execrable race. Okay, so this is why we've come to the point in the United States that we've been totally taken over by the Jesuits. So they're now going to kill all the babies. Okay, so let's continue. It says that when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poisonous cup. How are they secretly using the poisonous cup on you? Through genetically modified foods that your pastors, who should be protecting the sheep, don't even talk about from the pulpit. That the food that you're eating at your homes and at your potlucks that are filled with genetically modified poison, glyphosate, is on all these non-organic corn, soy, and wheat products. That's why people are getting horribly sick, getting cancers, and all these diseases, ALS, Parkinson's. It's because you have no gut lining that now you're poisoning yourself, because this poison of GMO, Monsanto, glyphosate ruins your gut lining and you get sick. You get diabetes, you get all these diseases, and then the doctors go, well, we don't know why you got it. Well, it's because you're eating GMOs. Ever since 1992, genetically modified foods came onto the market. So they are giving you the poisonous cup. It says, I will secretly use the poisonous cup, the strangulation cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of honor, rank, dignity, or authority of persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private. Now, I would suggest that you go and find the Jesuit oath. You can find it real easy. Just Google Jesuit oath. Well, I wouldn't Google it. I would start page it or something like that. Now, so they want to kill babies, okay? They are evil, and it's the Jesuits, okay? All these people who think it's the Rothschilds and Margaret Sanger and all that, those are just the people the Jesuits use, so nobody can go back to them and say, oh, it's from the Pope, it's from Mystery Babylon, okay? They have iniquity just everywhere. I want you to know that somebody gave us warning about this, and really, let me see if I have it still here, because my computer actually said I was offline, so let's see if it's still here. This was a quote inside of the book, what is that book? 50 Years in the Church of Rome by Chiniki. I've showed you that before on here. If you need to know, write me a note down below. And this is a quote that he gave to Chiniki, and this was from President Lincoln. Let's see, I'm on the wrong one. I think I might find it back over here. Okay, here it is. This is his quote. Lincoln says this: I would have laughed had they told me before I became president. So the things that they were telling them, he wouldn't even have believed it until he became president. But Professor Morse, who had the Morse code, had told him all these things. And he says that he warned him. He said, has opened my eyes on that subject. And now I see that mystery, okay, which is Revelation 17:5, Mystery Babylon the Great. I understand that engineering of hell, which, though not seen or even suspected by the country, is putting in motion the large, heavy, and noisy wheels of the state cars of the Southern Confederacy. I'm going to go past this. And then he says, you are almost the only one with whom I speak freely on the subject, but sooner or later the nation will know the real origin of those rivers of blood and tears, which are spreading desolation and death everywhere. Okay, this is where this death is coming from, the Jesuits. And then those who have caused those desolations and disasters. Okay, these disasters are being caused by the Jesuits. The disasters of the fires in California, the floods, all these things are being engineered, okay? So they're going to know, he says, the real origin of those rivers of blood and tears, which are spreading desolation and death everywhere. And then those who have caused those desolations and disasters will be called to give an account of them. And he says, I do not pretend to be, this is Lincoln, do not pretend to be a prophet, but though not a prophet, I see a very dark cloud on our horizon. All the stuff that we're seeing, he was already seeing what was going to happen to the United States. This is a dark cloud. These are evil things. These are killing of babies. These are what they put on the White House when Obama brought in transgender or the whole LGBTQ movement. And it says, this is all the things that have been causing us because we are not following Yah. This country was infiltrated by Mystery Babylon, okay? And the Jesuits are the military arm, so they go in and they infiltrate everywhere. And this is what Lincoln is saying. He says, I see a very dark cloud on our horizon, and that dark cloud is coming from Rome. It is filled with tears of blood. It will rise and increase till its flanks will be torn by a flash of lightning, followed by a tearful peal of thunder. Then a cyclone such as the world has never seen will pass over this country, spreading ruin and desolation from north to south. After it's all over, there will be long days of peace and prosperity. For popery with its Jesuits and merciless inquisition will have been forever swept away from our country. Neither I nor you, but our children will so see those things. So he's seen our future. And we have given you other studies about the kingdom of Yah that's going to burn the Catholic Church and its flesh. And you can read that in Revelation. That is on another study. So I just wanted to show you who's behind the death of the babies. They will strangle them. And I just suggest, if you want more information, that you will ask for this tract. It doesn't have what I'm talking about here, but it does have statements of the Texas Declaration of Independence that shows that the people in Texas, they fought against the Catholic Church, and they even put it in their statements that they were against the priesthood that was trying to take their lands. And then you also have the Edict of 1492 that shows you why the Catholics are killing the Protestants. And the Jesuits are behind the murdering of the children of this country. And your pastors are not saying anything about it because they're part of it. They have given over the SDA Church, as well as most of the Protestant churches, to the Catholic Church. So I just want to tell you that if you just read their own Jesuit oath, where they say they will kill the children, that's where this is all coming from. And you see that President Lincoln saw into the future the evil that was coming, but he sees the brighter days, and we should see that too. Yah's coming back, but if you're wicked, you're going to be destroyed. If you don't believe his statutes and judgments, you're going to be destroyed. You're not on his side. You can call yourself a Christian. You can call yourself a Protestant. You can call yourself all these things, but if you're not aware of the Jesuits and what they're doing, and you're part of them, and you pay them money to lie to you, you pay your tithes to them, you give your tax money to the Vatican. All these things have been proven that the taxes go to the Vatican, 60% to the Vatican and 40% to the Bank of London. And this was been proven by Karen Hudes, who was a lawyer for the World Bank. So she found this out when she was working for the World Bank. And so if you don't realize that you're part of the evil and you don't come out of her, that's what the Bible says, come out of her, my people. It's not just the Catholic Church, it's all her daughters. So we bring you this message to let you know that it's the Jesuits that are killing the unborn babies, and this has happened in history before. Why they want to kill the Protestant babies? because they feel that's how they're going to win at this world. They're not going to win. Yasha comes back and sets up his kingdom, and we've given other studies on this. So I just wanted to give a brief explanation of the Jesuit killings that are happening right now in our land. May Yah bless you with this message, and may you do your own research and find Yah, and come to timesandlaws.com for more information. Write us a note below for more information. Thank you so much. And if this is the first time hearing that the Jesuits are behind all the murders, you can also write to me so I can give you some more information. Thank you so much. May Yah bless.